What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of Gin and Tonic. I'm your host, John J. II, and we welcome you in this latest edition. Today we're talking about rangefinders. So the PGA Tour of America announced earlier this week that rangefinders will be allowed in the PGA Tour for usage by the pros and caddies starting in May. So they talked about how it's going to be allowed in all the major championships, but I think it's going to kind of cross over into all the tournaments. Whether or not that's accurate or not, time will tell. Time will tell on that. But we have to consider the facts. So what do rangefinders do? They pinpoint the exact location of a yardage, and then it gives the yardage in a numerical form on the rangefinder. So they're very helpful for novice players, very helpful for amateurs that decide to play golf or whatever, just to give you a good yardage. Pros for so many years, for decades on the PGA Tour, have been required to use yardage books, which give yardages from certain landmarks on the fairway, trees, fairway markers, things like that. It gives them a rough estimate of how far they are given their position on the fairway or the rough or wherever they wind up being on the course. Many pros have been up in arms about this. Jordan Spieth, among one, has said that it is very bad for the game. He's completely against it. I was actually surprised to hear this, just because it seems like these pros are getting a significant advantage by being allowed to use these devices on tour and in tournament play. You would think that you'd get a lot more acceptance, especially from the players, on this. But I think once players have been getting used to, or once they've gotten used to a certain way of play and a certain means of detecting the yardage, they kind of get stuck in that type of routine, where it becomes such a routine where it's just like the same thing they're doing all the time. They get used to it, and once you get stuck in a routine, it's easy to get used to that. I don't think they're going to outlaw yardage books by any means, but I think this is going to definitely be a shift in routine for many players and caddies on the PGA Tour. Whether they decide to use them or not, I think is somewhat irrelevant. We've seen players succeed and reach the hole with pinpoint accuracy without rangefinders forever. I mean, you see how many guys hole out in Pebble Beach. Jordan Spieth actually holed out twice, and he wasn't using a rangefinder. So listen, I don't know how much of an advantage it actually gives these players. It gives you a yardage to the front of the green. It's hard to pinpoint the accuracy and hard to give you a yardage for the back of the green, center of the green. You can get a rough estimate of the pin if you shoot the laser directly at it. But listen, at the end of the day, the players have to execute the shots required regardless of the yardages that they're being given. Another idea thought up by the PGA of America and other people involved with this decision have said that it will speed up the pace of play, which could be accurate, it could not be. I feel like a lot of these players are going to be taking their time either way on different shots, different approaches, different angles. And a lot of these shots, especially if you're under some trees or if you've got a tough angle, it's hard to get a pinpoint accuracy location spot with a rangefinder. I understand that. It's understandable. Maybe these players will be using rangefinders in cohesion with their yardage books. I don't know, but basically time will tell. We'll see how it'll affect the tour. It's going to look weird seeing certain professionals and caddies like this with a device on their eyeballs kind of pinpointing the accuracy of these certain shots using the laser. I've known by experience that rangefinders definitely help me out. But granted, I don't, have yardage books for a majority of the courses that I play, especially at Ironwood, where we clinched the Corona Cup, the first Corona Cup, and even in Williamston at Brookshire, where we clinched the second Corona Cup. So listen, it can be done without rangefinders, but it's definitely helpful with them. Now, these yardage books are very, very detailed, and it helps players kind of assume where they are on the course, first of all, and assume how far they are based on the number that they can see closest to their position, how far out they are, and it involves a lot more analysis and strategic planning on deciding what club to use. Now, these things will definitely affect the game of golf. Will they affect the pace of play? Only time will tell. Will it affect the entire dynamic of tournament play? I don't think so. I think it'll kind of keep things normal. Just a simple prediction, I think that most pros will divert from using rangefinders. They'll just keep it the way it is. And I don't think that they'll be at any significant disadvantage by using them or not. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on this. Like I said, majority of people, both caddies and players, are against the rangefinder decision. Now, for obvious reasons, right? Amateurs and people that are just going out to have fun need all the help they can get to the green. These pros need a little bit more skill. Not only do they have to execute the shots, but they have to see where they are on the course and use the landmarks and other things around them to be able to figure out the yardage to the hole or to the position they're trying to reach on the golf course. Very, very controversial stuff, but in reality, I don't think it'll very much change the grand scheme of the pace of play or the style of the tournament. I think that it's going to be difficult to really quantify how much this will help and assist players in scoring better in tournaments. Will it give people the edge to, succeed and maybe even make the cut when they haven't been making the cut? I don't think it will. Like I said, you have to execute the shots. You have to get the job done. You have to hit the ball flush, and you have to use the correct club no matter what the yardage is, even if the yardage is given to you on a GPS device or whatever it is, a rangefinder. All these devices are definitely helpful. We get that. But will they create an edge? Will they create a significant difference? Only time will tell, and it's going to be tough even then to see whether the rangefinder or the laser was a difference maker in the determination of that match or their score or whatever. All things to consider. Keep your eyes open for this issue, guys. I'll leave it at that, though. Quick episode today. I'm John J. II with Gin Pros, and this has been the latest edition of Gin and Tonic. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.